With its tropical climate, vast forests, and ocean on the horizon, Costa Rica has been the leading destination for nature lovers for several years now. People travel thousands of kilometers and come from all over the world to spend a few days of their holiday here. Rosalie and her friend Isa have been dreaming of this trip for a year, and they are looking forward to a unique experience.
Il est midi et demi, on peut aller écouter ça au village là. Sinon il y a de l'acro-yoga. Ça va ? Allez, on y va.
They came to this jungle in Central America to be part of a big hippie gathering. Once a year, for a week, more than 10,000 people meet here to connect with each other and reach a state of ecstasy.
Just so happy to be here. It's an amazing place. We're all so blessed. I love you, and I love you.
Lots of love, lots of beauty, lots of life, teeming everywhere.
Contortions, yoga, and mystical music, the class is about to begin. Isa, a professional dancer, and Rosalie, a humanitarian executive, get into the mood.
On se sent calme, posé, en même temps présente. L'énergie est là.
In this new age atmosphere, the two friends feel in their element. Here, all the participants have adopted a green lifestyle to the fullest. The huts are made completely of wood. As for the showers, they come at a price and are timed. No more than 5 minutes per person. In the infirmary, there are 100% natural remedies for Isa and Rosalie.
Aloe vera, you rub it on your burns. I'm not that burned, but it's a little red, and it calms it, it's cool.
This return to the roots is what the two French women came to Costa Rica for. This country has been a leader in the field of sustainability for the last 30 years.
Il y a vraiment une volonté de faire prendre conscience aux personnes de l'importance et de la richesse des ressources naturelles.
It costs €600 to spend a week in this unique place, including camping.
And good smelling ones also.
Stephen Brooks is the organizer of this big gathering every year. It is no coincidence that the 53-year-old American fell in love with Costa Rica. The country abolished its army 70 years ago to avoid a military coup, a real hippie land at its core. The American was won over by this.
Looking for me?
Yeah.
What's up, baby?
He then decided to build his new world there, a sharing community that breaks away from the consumer society.
We want people to taste another way of living like they never have before, so that when they go home, they never want to go back to the old way, Here we are, demonstrating another way to do things. People have never felt more in community and more supported and more loved.
Here, Stephen Brooks is considered a spiritual leader. The reason he's so popular is because he's found a recipe for success. This is the moment Isa and Rosalie have been waiting for on their first night. Dusk kicks off a gigantic rave party where all eccentricities are allowed. A dream beach version of the Burning Man. The two French women are not disappointed by their trip.
C'est le coucher de soleil en fait, donc c'est les dernières heures de la journée, alors tout le monde descend sur la plage, on danse, on fait la fête, et voilà.
Until late at night, the two friends and all the participants enjoy all sorts of games and more dancing in this wild atmosphere. There is only one rule: to let go.
C'est un peu unique, c'est magique. Il suffit d'un soleil, d'une mer et des gens en fait. C'est la simplicité et de voir tout le monde s'émerveiller pour ça, c'est fantastique quoi.
Isa and Rosalie fell in love. Thanks to this kind of extraordinary event, Costa Rica is becoming the new home of hippies from all over the world, and the country has many other assets. Designated a UN Earth Champion in 2019, this Central American country has been almost razed to the ground to make way for intensive agriculture. Thanks to a reforestation plan, forest areas doubled in less than 30 years and now cover half of its territory. This feat makes Costa Rica one of the top countries in the world in terms of ecology. This is a source of pride for its young 40-year-old president, Carlos Alvarado.
Es un honor que mi país reciba esto por lo que han hecho.
Between the Caribbean Sea and the Pacific Ocean, Costa Rica, meaning rich coast, is, as its name suggests, one of the richest countries in Central America. Half of its 5 million inhabitants live in San Jose, the capital. But the 3 million tourists who arrive here each year do not usually stop here. They come to Costa Rica primarily for its nature, one of the most unspoiled in the world. It's the country's main resource.
Nuestra naturaleza es nuestro oro verde.
Some people travel in a van to have the ultimate experience. Others travel the world to get married in these breathtaking settings.
It is just paradise in every which way.
Everyone is having a holiday here in the spirit of Pura Vida, the country's motto. It means living cool and enjoying every moment. In Costa Rica, some tourists put their lives at risk. The hour of secret spiritual retreat during which they consume a drug that is only legal here.
I feel very kind of a bit more confused today. I think my brain was being rewired, so there's a lot of confusion.
Is Costa Rica really the greenest country on the planet? Not quite. Its agriculture, one of the main local resources, is now a controversial issue. Costa Rica is the country that uses the most pesticides per hectare of land in the world, especially to grow pineapples, of which they are the world's largest producer. For the plantation workers, the consequences can be dire. How did Costa Rica become a hot tourist destination? Is this green paradise really unspoiled? An investigation of one of the most beautiful gardens of paradise on the planet. It's an early morning on the Pacific coast.
Oh, c'est trop beau. Je pourrais me réveiller comme ça tous les matins, avec ce petit son en plus là, des bruits de vagues et le vent et tout.
Lara and Raphael are discovering this wild scenery for the first time. These two 28-year-olds from Lyon parked their van here by chance last night. They are among the 70,000 French people who visit the country every year.
Ce bonheur. La boue, elle est super bonne quand même, hein. Regarde. J'ai vraiment envie de me baigner.
They've been preparing for this bohemian holiday for years. They have saved 1,800 euros each to travel around the country for 3 weeks, including plane tickets.
J'ai envie de vivre ça tous les jours en fait. C'est trop trop beau. Le sable sous les pieds, les vagues, et puis toute la faune et la flore qu'on a autour de nous. C'est juste incroyable.
In their van, the comfort is minimal, a double mattress in the back and a kitchen area in the trunk. For these two friends, this mode of transport is the best way to enjoy these unique landscapes and the 1,300 kilometers of wild coastline. What they don't know is that these beaches are the hunting ground of terrifying wildlife. The local surfers soon warn them of the danger.
Cuando las mareas bajan mucho, puedes verlos por ahí andan. Entonces nada más de tener cuidado, no meterse solo es muy peligroso.
These aquatic monsters come down the rivers to catch fish in the ocean. Swimming seems to be more challenging than expected.
Vous allez vous baigner du coup ou pas?
Je suis quand même peureuse des crocodiles. Je crois que j'ai toujours un petit peu peur moi.
Lara and Raphael came to Costa Rica to have a good time. They're going to get their money's worth.
Allez, go.
The country is a paradise for extreme sports enthusiasts. Surfing, kayaking, and canyoning. In the heart of the forest is a unique attraction, an extra-large treetop adventure park with one of the longest zip lines in the world, with 1,600 meters of descent above the canopy. The thrill of the ride is guaranteed. It is a challenge for the two adventurers.
Ok. Là, j'avoue que, en fait, avec tout le matériel, je sens que ouais, ça va être de plus en plus intense. Mais je suis excitée en même temps. J'ai hâte de découvrir ce que ça va être. Puis surtout, je sais pas, c'est dans la jungle, des animaux, donc ça va être incroyable.
The two young women feel the tension rising. They're going to be more than 50 meters above the trees.
Je suis prête là. Je suis prête.
1 minute of breathtaking flight over 100 kilometers of vast forest. Once finished, the two friends can't quite believe the experience.
Oh, yes. T'as vu cette sensation, tu survoles, tu vois les arbres, t'as l'impression de rentrer dans la forêt là quand tu t'arrives. Elle est incroyable.
L'arrivée, t'as l'impression que tu vas rentrer dans
It's not over yet. They are about to try an even more terrifying attraction, the Tazan Jump, a swing on a vine with 50 meters of free fall.
Mon Dieu, j'ai des frissons partout là. Je commence à avoir la chair de poule, j'ai des poils qui se dressent.
This time, Raphael is petrified.
Je crois que je vais pleurer avant d'y aller. Tu peux le faire, Raph!
With Laura's support, she gains courage.
Je pense à rien. Je pense à rien.
And throws herself into the void. After the adrenaline rush, the adventure continues. Costa Rica alone has 6% of the world's biodiversity. There are 169 protected areas in the whole country. That's a quarter of its territory. One of the most visited is in the north, with 70,000 hectares of mangrove, nicknamed the Little Amazon, accessible only by boat or small propeller plane. More than 1,000 species of wild animals live there in peace. To explore this terrestrial paradise, Lara and Raphael called Willis.
Espera por ahí, un minuto, por favor.
This guide has been working here for 30 years and knows the mangroves inside out. A few quick strokes of the paddle and the first animals already appear.
Or just look under the leaf straight up. You got to see like a ball, gray. Sloth.
Ah, si, je le vois là.
It's moving, it's scratching now.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
scratching.
I can see.
Sloths, the world's slowest mammals, are the country's mascots. Threatened by extinction, they are completely protected here. For the two young women, this is a unique opportunity to see a sloth in its natural environment.
Ok. Là, on le voit là.
This is just the beginning. They can see coatis, water turtles, caimans, rare land and water animals usually impossible to approach. Here, the French women are just a few centimeters away from them.
Je suis pas hyper rassurée parce qu'on est vraiment à portée de bras du caïman.
In a few hours, Lara and Raphael will encounter many different animals, even the most unusual ones, like these howler monkeys.
Ça ressemble vraiment aux humains quand même, les singes.
Nunca deben de estar debajo de los monos, porque te puede echar caca o meow. Close your mouth always if you're under the monkey.
Ah, puis ils se lâchent, hein. Pas de toilette pour les animaux sauvages.
The two young women are aware of how privileged they are to be around these wild animals. Costa Rica has made this its trademark. There are no zoos here, they are forbidden, and that's what the adventurers like about it. Lara and Raphael feel like explorers.
On a une sensation d'être seul au monde, perdu au milieu de cette forêt, découvrir ce milieu naturel tout seul. C'est vraiment un privilège.
On n'est pas dans un zoo, on est dans un parc national, naturel, sauvage. Donc il faut savoir rester humble et savoir accepter le fait de ne pas toujours voir ce qu'on a envie de voir. Mais lorsqu'on en voit, ils sont à l'état sauvage et ça n'a pas de prix.
They owe this spectacle to the strict rules imposed by the state to protect the ecosystem. Only 1% of the national park is open to visitors, and tourists only enter for a few hours a day.
Nuestra naturaleza es nuestro oro verde. Tenemos que cuidar la naturaleza y seguir con la conservación.
Willis is proud of this model, which opposes mass tourism. It is also what allows him and the 1,500 inhabitants of his village, Tortuguero, to survive. Before the park opened 5 years ago, everyone was living in poverty. Today, this remote area attracts 150,000 visitors every year. Restaurants, food shops, everyone profits from this green gold. Willis and all the villagers like Milton, the souvenir seller, live for it.
Puede ser 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 y así. El turismo es el corazón de Tortuguero. Sí, sin el turismo, Tortuguero no existe.
Hasta luego.
In the 80s, Costa Rica already understood that ecology could be very profitable. Reforestation, but also the development of renewable energies. The country produces almost all of its electricity from geothermal, wind and solar energy, a policy that pays off. Nature lovers are now arriving from all over the world, and some come for extreme experiences. On the edge of the Pacific Ocean, this property, lost in the middle of the rainforest, has been home to a rather unusual fitness centre for a few years now. It's a mixture of shamanism, yoga and relaxation massage centre.
Just take a deep breath and relax.
The owner's name is Darren McBrightner, an American who is the self-proclaimed therapist for the extreme hippie movement in Costa Rica. This morning, he organised a strange gardening session for his clients. They all come here for a plant that is all the rage in this community.
You just take your hand, you put it over like that.
This plant is iboga, an African medicinal plant known for its hallucinogenic properties. It is so dangerous that it is classified as a narcotic in Europe and the United States. Costa Rica is one of the few countries in the world that allows its consumption.
This plant is the most powerful plant medicine in the world. For one, it's like going to a psychotherapist 10 years in one night. What it's doing is it's resetting your body to the day you were born.
Its therapeutic effects have never been recognised by scientists, but Darren believes in them. For 20 years, he's made a business out of it. Dozens of tourists pay more than 4,000 euros each year to treat themselves to a week of supposedly miraculous treatment.
Okay, that is a good area.
Among them, Cash, Magdalena and Candy. These three friends from England are on a quest for mental well-being. Their initiation begins with the planting of young plants, but the gardening part gradually turns into shamanism.
This is a sacred ceremony.
Candy has brought her talismans and a very surprising fertilizer, her own blood.
This is my last month's menstruation bleed, and I've collected it to give back to Earth, to give an offering to Pachamama. Thank you for everything. Thank you for this beautiful human experience and everything that you do.
In a few hours, Candy and her friends will consume iboga and undergo a puzzling experience. But first comes the preparation. The participants have to undress and paint their bodies and faces.
It feels very natural. You feel back to your roots, surrounded by nature. This is what iboga does to you. It puts you in touch with nature, your true self.
They enter this typical Native American sauna. It's heated by these large glowing stones that have been plunged into the fire. Inside, the temperature rises to 90 degrees. The group is invoking the spirits and singing shamanic chants.
Oh, it's crazy, man. Yeah, crazy. Sweating so much, getting rid of so much crap, singing songs. You felt very tribal, you know? Back to like a million years ago.
I never experienced anything like this, so that was something out of this world.
The visitors are now ready for the long-awaited ceremony. They're going to spend the night on these mattresses. Before they start, they have to drive out the evil spirits with incense. Darren, the guru, comes to reassure them before the big jump into the unknown.
Thank you.
Have a good night. We'll be right here to support you, okay?
Everyone is taking these little pills that contain iboga. Its consumption has already caused dozens of deaths around the world, primarily caused by respiratory arrest, but this is not enough to scare them off. Magdalena starts a prayer to give herself courage.
I am feeling very nervous right now.
What are you afraid of?
My demons. I'm afraid of my demons.
So I have no idea, to be honest. I'm just going in with the heart of a child and with the spirit of a warrior.
Gradually, the plant is going to send them into a semi-conscious state. At Darren's request, we film this discreetly.
This is a really big thing that they were doing, so if you guys come in while they're in the middle of this very deep healing, it's going to do things to their mind. It's not healthy at all.
In reality, what he doesn't want to show is the dreaded effects of iboga. Even if you don't die from it, the plant can cause epileptic seizures and paralysis. All night long, the participants will be haunted by mystical visions and hallucinations. Most of them go back and forth to the bathroom to vomit. These intense moments will continue until the early morning. 12 hours after swallowing the pills, the three English friends are still under the influence of the drug.
I feel very kind of a bit more confused today. I think my brain was being rewired, so there was a lot of confusion. I didn't understand a lot of what was happening. It was a crazy, strange journey. I purged once quite heavily. I was sick.
Candy is convinced that she has communicated with the Holy Spirit.
Windsurfing on the Milky Way, I went to the moon. 100 shooting stars fell down on me. God, it definitely exists, 1,000,000%.
As for Magdalena, still in shock, she doesn't want to share her experience. In some European countries, these workshops for personal growth are condemned by the authorities for being cult-like. Here, the state prefers to look the other way. There are about 10 centres like Darren's that have been created in the last few years. Jungle, dream beaches, and even volcanoes. Costa Rica offers a wide range of spectacular scenery, and its landscapes do not only attract backpackers and hippies. In the last 20 years, the country has also become a paradise for lovers, tourists who travel thousands of kilometers to get married here. Ania and her fiancé Owi are from New York. They will celebrate their union in a few hours on the beach, but before that, the couple has a photo shoot in the middle of the jungle.
Hey guys, what's up? Everything good?
Nice to see you, brother.
Nice seeing you.
How you doing?
I'm great, and you? Not too exhausted?
Beautiful, man.
The two lovers called on Thomas, a French photographer who has been in the country for 17 years. He has made this wild and preserved nature his business.
Okay, this one, look at me, grab it. Yeah. Okay.
Thomas shoots no less than 50 weddings a year, a business that is growing in Costa Rica.
Là, on a des Américains, ça c'était des Hollandais, on a eu des Français aussi, des Québécois, donc francophones. On a des Polonais qui sont venus là.
To win over today's clients, the Frenchman stops at all the right places. He knows the right locations. In Costa Rica, you have to earn a good picture.
Is it okay if we just do it here?
Sitting 2 meters above the ground, the couple is not very comfortable.
He's afraid of height.
It's okay. Oh, no. Stop, man. Make her laugh. She's a little stressed. Je rajoute un petit peu de risque à l'intérieur. Ça rajoute un peu de piment. Mais c'est ça qui est intéressant, non? Un petit peu de stress, un petit peu de bonheur, tu vois. Là, ils sont au Costa Rica, quoi.
The bride and groom will never forget this picture.
This proves to our future children that we're adventurous and we like to take risks before we start settling down and telling them that they can't do anything fun like this.
Let's go across the river now.
The photo session gradually takes on the character of a wild expedition, and Thomas pushes the lovers to the limit. His idea is to photograph them in the water with their clothes on.
Okay.
Definitely an adventure.
Ania can say goodbye to her beautiful dress.
Woo! We got it.
One last detail that was not expected are these mojarra, seemingly harmless little fish.
Oh, there's just some fish here. Okay,
Some
hello.
fish, just saying hello.
Soon enough, they attack.
Coming to see the New Yorkers?
Okay, I need to go.
This species doesn't like to be disturbed, and they know how to defend their territory.
Is that biting you?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so no, sure, get out.
Ania has had enough. It's time to go back to the mainland to prepare for the big ceremony. The lovers have rented this huge property on the coast. It has a swimming pool and a private golf course. They paid €35,000 to have the wedding of their dreams. It's not cheap, but back home in the United States, they would have paid at least 3 times as much for the same luxury. That's what makes Costa Rica a destination of choice for many Americans.
I've come here probably close to 20 times now, and I've just had a very good experience every time. And every time there's something new to see and new people to meet, and it's a wonderful feeling. And I feel very happy and relaxed when I leave Costa Rica.
I'm crying how you're talking
It's
about
true,
my
though.
country.
It's true.
Thank you.
Now it's time for the big moment they've been waiting for. The ceremony takes place on this beach facing the Pacific Ocean. Ania and Owi, both New Yorkers of the Jewish faith, have invited all their families to attend.
Today, this kid from Queens gets to marry his dream girl. We've had so many incredible adventures, but our biggest adventure begins today.
I promise to live fully and fearlessly in whatever life brings us as long as I have you by my side. Today I give you my heart as your wife.
Ania and Owi have been dreaming of this moment of grace for years. Torma is taking more and more shots to make sure it stays with them forever.
It's beautiful. It's white sand, blue ocean, great sunset. Can't ask for more for a beach wedding.
It is just paradise in every which way.
Like Ania and Owi, 170,000 foreigners choose Costa Rica as their wedding destination every year. With its lush nature, five-star hotels and luxurious villas, the country has managed to combine tourism with sustainable development. However, there are still exceptions in Costa Rica. There are some remnants of a time when ecology was not yet the priority. They are places where mass tourism has developed with serious consequences for the environment. Like Haco, a seaside resort in the south of the country, very popular with North American holidaymakers. Here there is no rainforest, but fast food restaurants, souvenir shops and tourist buses. The town has become a little California with a Costa Rican twist.
Yeah, it's good. Food's good. Beer's good. People are super nice. Come on down.
It's like at home?
Yes, sir. Right like at home.
Being right next to the playa, just hanging out, super relaxing, chill.
Every year, 300,000 holidaymakers come to this town of 10,000 inhabitants. It's a godsend for the shopkeepers, but these tourists are also the cause of seawater pollution. Victor Hercé, one of Costa Rica's leading environmentalists, is upset by this. With his wife Carla and his nephew Hector, he regularly comes to surf on this beach, despite several scientific studies having revealed that these waters contain a very high level of human excrement.
Es el agua de Haco. Ella se ve limpia. No sabemos ni siquiera ciencia cierta qué tan contaminada. Sí sabemos que tiene muchos clorofáginos fecales. Está surfeando dentro del caca.
Trato de no pensarlo, pero es lamentable. Debería de haber una protección más amplia, más fuerte.
It's because of the inadequate sewage treatment system. In some places, the sewage flows directly into this river that flows into the ocean. The sewage is full of excrement, but also household products from nearby hotels and businesses. The poor come to wash here, risking being contaminated by bacteria.
Ahí está. Y ya ahí no voy a entrar, ¿verdad? Y pueden ver el color del agua, de un color celeste, blanco, y que huele bastante feo.
The authorities have reacted. They've built a few sewage treatment plants, but due to the tourism boom, they were soon overwhelmed.
Es una consecuencia directa del turismo masivo sin planificación. El Haco creció como una ciudad, pero no creció en infraestructura de salud pública.
That's not the only thing Victor is outraged about. 4 years ago, the government pledged to ban single-use plastic items like bags, straws and bottles by 2021. But so far, things are far from being done. You can see this by simply going to a supermarket in this resort.
Plástico, 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 bolsa plástica, plástico. Todo tiene plástico.
Here, plastic is everywhere. All the bottles are made of plastic. It's a clear statement. When shopping, the environmentalist has to deal with it.
¿Por qué compras si hay plástico?
Hay otra opción. No existe otra opción. ¿Qué opción puedo tener? No como. Todo tiene plástico. Tengo que comer, ¿no?
The reason he's upset is because he knows that some of his packaging will end up in the ocean and further pollute Haco's beaches. So, to save his town's ecosystem, Victor decided to roll up his sleeves. He created an association of eco-surfers. Once a week, they clean up the dirtiest beaches in the region.
Bueno, man, aquí tenemos un puño, vea. 2 botellas, 3 botellas, un pedazo de lavadora, un zapato, un estuche de desodorante. Qué pena, ¿verdad?
The regular surfers usually help them out.
¿Y eso? ¿Dónde lo encontró? Sí, como siempre, ¿verdad?
Las llantas de las bicicletas y motocicletas las trae el mar desde el río. La gente las tira al río. Toda la corriente trae mucho desperdicio, mucha basura.
In Costa Rica, recycling has been mandatory for 10 years.
5, 15, unos otros 10, 25. Sí, yo calculo que unos 45 kilos, ¿verdad?
Every year, Victor and all the volunteers that work for him around the country clean up nearly 7 tons of trash from the beaches. In Costa Rica, in terms of ecology, there's something even more serious. It is the environmental issue of intensive agriculture. Coffee, bananas and pineapples. These crops are grown in huge fields and they bring in a lot of money. Pineapple alone generates $1 billion in revenue every year. Costa Rica is the world's largest exporter of it. Most of the pineapples that you find in supermarkets, for example in France, come directly from here.
Esta es la piña calidad que vendemos aquí en tramo la esquinita para que queme grasa, consuma buena calidad de fruta, fresca todos los días.
The happy story ends here. There is no miracle in producing so many pineapples. The country is the world's biggest user of pesticides per hectare cultivated. This is a shame for a nation that places ecology above all else. The impact on the environment and the health of the inhabitants is disastrous. In the small village of Pacorito, in the north of the country, Karen can't sleep at night.
Mire, la amarilla que pasó ahí ahorita.
Every day, in front of her house, she helplessly watches the planes spray pesticides on the fields next to her house.
Que ellos pueden empezar desde aquí y empiezan allá y el viento trae todos los residuos del veneno para acá.
She is surrounded. All around her house there are fields as far as the eye can see, all of them sprayed with pesticides. Karen is convinced that it is these chemicals that have made her ill. She has bone cancer. She was diagnosed 4 years ago. She is on oral chemotherapy and is fighting every day to survive.
Los síntomas son cansancio físico, demasiado sudoración y el dolor en cualquier parte del cuerpo, los huesos. A veces, anoche de hecho yo me desperté y le dije a mi hija que me trajera una pastilla porque era demasiado el dolor de cabeza.
It is impossible to establish with certainty the causal link between these pesticides and her cancer, but Karen is sure. She points to the pineapple crops right behind her house. For years, she has been washing in this river that borders the fields. Then she realized that the pesticides used to treat the pineapples were flowing into it.
Yo considero que fui contaminada por los desechos de los químicos de la piñera, porque es la única respuesta que hay, y más cuando el doctor me lo confirmó.
Karen didn't file a complaint because she can't afford a lawyer. Now she no longer works and survives with her 6 children on a state allowance of €130 a month, 6 times less than the average salary in Costa Rica. Fortunately, Etel, her son, is helping her. He is a salesman in a clothing shop.
Ay, ¿qué trajo? Ay, gracias, papi, qué rico. Ay, gracias, un besito, papi. Gracias.
Toda la vida vive con eso, pensando todos los días que si se va a ir o no se va a ir. Es muy, muy complicado.
With its small income, the family knows that it doesn't hold much power against the multinational companies in the region. In Costa Rica, 100 companies share the lucrative pineapple business, and almost all of them use pesticides. This is what one of the farm workers who works in one of the biggest fields in the country tells us. In these fields, journalists are not welcome. We are filming on hidden cameras without revealing our identity.
¿Y qué hay como producto dentro? De todo, de insecticidas, sí, foliares. Hay producto aquí para levantar la planta.
Some of the products applied to the fields are banned in Europe. A farm worker finally agreed to show us the damage they can cause. He has only been working in a field for 2 years, and he is already a victim.
Perdí las uñas por un químico
que se llama Guerra SL20 15 meses. De tenerlo así, al principio toda la uña se me levantaba, todo eso, y me sangraba y hay mucho dolor, porque cualquier persona que me mire le va a dar asco o puede decir que tengo algo ahí, y entonces tengo que andar con mi mano así escondida. Entonces la autoestima es baja y psicológicamente y también me afecta.
Even when he's handling these pesticides, he wears gloves, but they weren't enough to protect his hands, and his case is not the only one. According to the unions, dozens of other workers have health problems. Why do Costa Rican farmers use so much pesticide to grow pineapples? We wanted to ask them, but most of them refused to be filmed.
Me indican que no permiten adentro. ¿Quién le ha dicho eso? Digamos, la gente aquí de lo que es recursos humanos.
Only one company owner agreed to talk to us on the phone. He is European and he owns a big plantation in Costa Rica. He says that to ensure good yields, pesticides are essential in this country with its hot and humid climate.
Produire de la laine à une grande échelle sans produits chimiques, pour moi, c'est impossible. C'est les pays tropicaux, tout pousse, mais du coup aussi les champignons poussent aussi plus vite. Après, il faut se protéger des insectes, donc tu vas avoir des insecticides. D'ailleurs, au Costa Rica, si on ne le met pas, on perd 99% de la production, donc il n'y a pas de secret.
Today, in Costa Rica, only 3% of the pineapple production is organic, a mere drop in the bucket in this lucrative business. Carden is likely to see pesticide tanks circling her house for a long time. Since getting cancer, she's put her faith in God. Every night, she goes to the village church for a little comfort.
Dios lo bendiga, hermano. ¿Cómo está?
She's one of the most regular attendees. Her Baptist faith, she hopes, will save her.
Dios hace muchos milagros. De hecho, cuando yo estaba en cuidados intensivos, por medio de la oración fue que salí de ahí.
Carden is still undergoing treatment. So far, she's stable. Like her, pesticide victims in Costa Rica remain without a voice. Today, the state still does not recognize the link between their pathology and the massive use of chemicals. When it comes to protecting the environment, the authorities are capable of small miracles, and they are ready to use force. On the other side of the country, a team of rangers is preparing for a rather unusual mission. These men, equipped like special forces, are part of the environmental police.
Esto usa tiro 5.56. En total le caben 20 municiones. El arma es semiautomática.
Their leader is this woman. Her name is Yami. She and her men are armed to the teeth, not to raid a crime scene, but to protect some very special guests who come to the beaches of Costa Rica once a year: sea turtles. Every year, they come back to lay their eggs where they were born. At times, there can be over 1 million of them. They're everywhere, on every square metre. They're even stepping on each other because there are so many of them. This almost unique phenomenon in the world is called the arribada, the Great Arrival. Every year, amazed tourists come to enjoy this breathtaking spectacle.
A life-changing experience. I'm 63 years old and I came here to see this, and finally I got to see an arribada.
It's unreal. I've dreamt about this, for years.
Are you guys excited? Yeah.
Yami and her men are watching the tourists from the corner of their eyes. But they're mainly there for the poachers who are trying to collect the turtle eggs, as they're threatened by extinction. Yami just spotted 2 suspects.
Buenas tardes, chicos. ¿Cómo están? Por favor, venga.
fuera de la playa. Recuerden que ustedes tienen medidas cautelares, no queremos verlos en playa. Por favor, venga, venga, venga. Fuera de la playa.
The police officer knows these two men well.
Son personas que en otros momentos han saqueado huevos y no tienen permiso para estar en playa. Tienen medidas cautelares de los tribunales.
Poachers face up to 3 years in prison if caught. Still, there are some people who are willing to risk it, because eating turtle eggs is a local tradition. Here, you just have to bend down and pick them up. This beach is 7 kilometers long. Yami admits she can't control everything.
Tenemos accesos como este, que es una entrada a una calle. Vienen y tienen directamente el acceso para robar los huevos. Tenemos casas que están inmediatamente contiguas a la playa. Pueden entrar con toda la facilidad del mundo.
Poachers are usually most active at night. One of them has agreed to let us follow him on his egg hunt. We'll call him Antonio. He's been poaching here for about 15 years.
Dieron huevitos, entonces necesito ir a sacar algo para matarme la goma, porque la dando de goma, ¿me entiendes?
To avoid being spotted by the rangers, Antonio asks us to film without light, with an infrared camera. As soon as he arrives on the beach, he feels the sand with his feet and spots the first nest.
Aquí está fácil, rápido. Necesito ser lo más rápido que pueda porque vienen guardas, Están buenos, sí. Porque hay guardas. Ya vi una luz ahí. Hay guarda. Listo. Voy aquí.
In less than 5 minutes, Antonio has collected 20 eggs. He immediately leaves to deliver them to a regular customer so that he doesn't have too many on him in case of an inspection.
Mamá. Ponele, pequeño.
Bueno, buenísimo. Bueno.
Dame, porque ya tengo que irme, porque si no viene la ley. Bueno, chao, mamá. Chao.
For this first bag, Antonio has just earned €2. It may not seem like much, but it's just the beginning.
Normalmente 100 docenas las pagan a 30,000 colones ahorita, así en contrabando. No puede pensar en la tortuga uno, solamente piensa uno en si anda tomando en el guaro. La tortuga es mi dinero, es la que me satisfacer mi necesidad.
In this country where the inhabitants only earn an average of €20 a day, the turtle egg trade is a good business. So to break this illegal trade, the authorities have found another surprising solution. The next morning at 10 o'clock in the daylight, in full view of everyone, the locals will also cross the red line and collect the precious turtle eggs.
Primero lo buscamos con la punta del pie. También tenemos la táctica con el taloncito. Aquí yo sentí una forma un poquito como estable que hay este huevo. Vamos a ver.
It may seem surprising, but they have every right to collect and sell these eggs. Don Jeremias and his friends are part of an association that has an exclusive license granted by the state.
Y llegamos al fondo, donde está todo el huevo que está totalmente fresco. Nunca me equivoco, con toda la fuerza del corazón y ese amor que no se me quita de que yo soy campeón a sacar huevo. Nosotros los sostianaleños comemos huevos natural a la pura vida. Pongan atención. Está pura vida, muy macho, muy valiente. Es una bendición de Dios.
The collection takes place about 10 days a year. All the members of the association are invited, and the number of eggs collected is limited. This is a unique situation in Costa Rica. The aim is to allow the inhabitants to perpetuate their ancestral traditions, but above all, to put an end to the black market by selling them at low prices.
Chicas, ¿cómo les está yendo por acá? ¿Está saliendo mucho huevito dañado?
Hélène is a biologist. She supports this collection because it does not harm the development of the species. In fact, during the arrebada, the turtles are so numerous on the beach that they lay eggs on top of each other and destroy their own eggs.
es tanta la cantidad de huevos que se produce que se pierde. La arribada puede durar hasta 11 a 15 noches y todos los nidos que son depositados las primeras 3 noches, las siguientes tortugas los sacan. Por ende, ese producto igualmente se va a perder.
For the members of the association, it is also very advantageous. The money from the sale of the eggs is redistributed to them. A few €100 per year per person. Today, on this beach, turtle births are constantly increasing, a sight that always moves Don Jeremías.
Mira, 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 mira. Un nacimiento de una aquí a la par. Ay, pobrecita. Vamos a ayudarle a salir un poquito de ese hueco. Si esta tortuguita hubiese estado dentro del hueco, lo que pasaría es que la misma madre la hubiera matado en estos momentos. Cuando vuelve a ver las tortuguitas que van hacia el mar, así hace una forma de inspiración hacia Dios. Y uno solamente dice en lo profundo del corazón que Dios te acompañe, que Dios te guíe. Son inocentes, son un subsidio para nosotros.
On average, only 1 in 1,000 turtles born here reaches adulthood. Like all the others, this one, if it survives, will come back to Costa Rica to lay eggs in about 10 years. Thanks to the efforts of the state and all the inhabitants, the country has become a refuge for more than a dozen species in danger of extinction.